You know that feeling when the international break finally ends and all you want is to see Celtic back on the pitch, bringing that mix of chaos, magic, and heart in your throat moments? Well, that moment has arrived, and the next stretch is going to be a proper test of stamina. It is like stepping into one of those long, draining runs where you think you know the distance, but the road keeps stretching ahead. From this weekend's clash with St. Mirren all the way to the next break in late March, Celtic are staring down a run so intense that even the most energetic supporter would need a deep breath before diving in. We are talking months without a single pause, matches packed one after the other, and a squad that is already feeling the strain before the first whistle even goes. When you look at the calendar, the scale becomes real. More than 100 days ahead and more than 24 games on the schedule, all crammed into a period that does not offer any space to catch your breath. It feels brilliant for us who follow every kick, every decision, and every burst forward, but imagine the players dealing with a match every few days, recovering on the fly, living out of treatment rooms and tactical briefings. The squad is going to be stretched, absolutely no doubt about it, and that will force certain players into the spotlight far more often than earlier in the season. This is the kind of spell where fringe players suddenly become essential and promising youngsters are thrown into roles that can define careers. And that is the real challenge right now, because Celtic's injury list is heavy and not easing up quickly. There are long-term absences that will keep major names out for months, and the timeline for some of them runs right into next year. Others are dealing with setbacks that might not sideline them forever, but will keep them away during this brutal run of games when fresh legs are worth their weight in gold. Some of the most experienced voices in the squad are gone for the foreseeable future, and that shifts responsibility onto players who maybe expected this season to be one of gradual development rather than sudden demands. So when you scan the squad sheet, you can almost see the gears turning as the coaching staff tries to solve a puzzle that keeps changing every week. Certain defenders will need to dig deep and cover positions they have not played consistently. Midfielders who have had only brief appearances so far will now be asked to control games, dictate tempo, and survive those frantic moments when matches turn into battles. Even the attacking options will need reshuffling, because losing a striker in great form always leaves a void that is not filled easily, no matter how much promise the replacements show in training. Among the returning players, a few were able to enjoy a proper recharge during the break, and that at least brings a little optimism. Some spent time with their national teams, growing confidence and gaining rhythm, while others rested and tried to clear their minds before diving back into club duties. There is always that hope that refreshed legs and renewed motivation can give Celtic the push they need to start this demanding spell with authority. And with a new manager expected to be announced soon, there is also that feeling of transition hovering above the squad, even if nothing is confirmed quite yet. Behind the scenes, though, the uncertainty is real. The supporters do not know exactly when the managerial decision will drop, and you can imagine that the players are in the same situation. They have to prepare, train, and perform regardless. But it is natural for the dressing room to feel the tension of waiting for that final piece of news, and yet all of that must be put aside when the ball rolls on Saturday night. Whoever steps onto the pitch will have to lock into the moment, push the uncertainty to the back of their minds, and deliver the results Celtic absolutely need to set the tone for the coming months. One player who will not be present, though, is the young striker who became a hero after that unforgettable finish against Rangers. His rise was one of the bright spots in this early stage of the season, the kind of moments supporters hold on to, the kind that lifts a team, only for it to be followed by the frustration of a severe hamstring injury just days later. Seeing him appear on crutches, strapped up and beginning a long recovery process is a harsh reminder of how quickly football can swing from glory to setback. Still, he is doing everything he can using advanced treatment methods and diving fully into rehab to get back sooner than the usual timetable suggests. The hope is that this determination helps him return faster, stronger, and ready to make an impact again once the squad has settled under the new direction. Meanwhile, one player returning from international duty is arriving with a sense of pride that must be bursting out of him after delivering one of the goals of the international break, a goal that carried immense weight for his country. He steps back into the Celtic environment, buzzing with confidence. You could see the disbelief on his face when he scored, as if even he needed a moment to understand what he had done. It is the kind of moment that stays with you forever, and it is exactly the sort of emotional lift that Celtic could use right now. There may even be a slightly awkward reunion waiting for him at training after what happened during that match, but that is part of the charm of football. Teammates joke, tease, move on, and within hours, everyone is locked back into the weekend's challenge. As the squad regroups at Lennoxtown, the atmosphere will be a mix of anticipation, fatigue, excitement, and a bit of uncertainty. They know the next months will test their resilience. They know every position will matter. They know supporters expect nothing less than full commitment, even through this complicated period filled with injuries, managerial questions, and off-the-field tensions. But that is Celtic, a club that rarely chooses the easy path and always finds its story told through intensity. The closer we get to the weekend, the more it feels like everything around the club is moving at once. There is the football itself, which is always the heartbeat of the place, but then there are all the side stories swirling around, each one tugging at the rhythm of the week. And right now, those side stories are growing louder, whether it is tension in the stands, uncertainty in the boardroom, or the anticipation of a managerial announcement that everyone can sense is coming, but nobody quite knows when. It leaves Celtic in that strange in-between space where the team has to focus on the next opponent, even though the ground is shifting beneath their feet. You can feel that restlessness, especially when you think about the atmosphere inside the stadium. There has been friction lately between groups in the support and the club hierarchy, and while the hope is always that things settle, it is clear that the situation is not smoothing out quietly. These things never exist in a vacuum. The players might try to stay out of it. The coaches might want to concentrate solely on tactics and preparation. But when you walk into a stadium where the mood is divided, you feel it instantly. It becomes part of the backdrop of the match, something the team has to rise above, something that can fuel or distract depending on how the night unfolds. And layered on top of all that is the anticipation around the managerial position. The conversations have gone quieter, but that quietness carries its own weight. When things go silent in football, it usually means wheels are turning behind closed doors. Supporters look at the lack of updates and start wondering what is causing the delay. Is it the negotiations? Is it the staff setup? Is it the board measuring timing? Whatever the reason, everyone is left waiting is left. And that waiting draws on the nerves of a support that is used to constant motion. Even the players must feel a touch of that limbo as they prepare for the next match without totally knowing who will be leading them through the months ahead. Still, despite all the noise around the edges, the routine at Lennoxtown carries on. Training sessions go ahead, meetings are held, recovery work continues, and players filter back from national duty looking to readjust to the rhythm of club football. It is a strange mix of energy, with some players returning fired up from international highs while others come back disappointed or exhausted. That blend can make the first sessions back feel a bit unbalanced, but once the group is together, they settle into the familiar feeling of getting ready for the weekend. What Celtic need most right now is a strong start to this brutal stretch of fixtures, a good performance, a convincing win, something that sets the tone not just for the players, but for everyone connected to the club. There is nothing like a controlled, confident display to calm down the conversations around uncertainty. And with so many injuries, so many players stepping into new responsibilities, a positive result would help lift the pressure that naturally builds when the squad is stretched thin. Some of the younger players know this might be their moment. When you get a run of matches packed so close together, you are bound to see opportunities open up for those on the fringes. A defender who has barely played might suddenly find himself starting 3 matches in a row. A midfielder who has looked tidy in short cameos might be asked to control the middle of the pitch for an entire 90 minutes. An attacker who has been waiting for an opening might finally get the chance to prove he can carry the weight of expectation. These moments shape seasons and sometimes shape careers. And Celtic, with their proud history of developing talent, often find heroes in unexpected places when the squad is stretched to its limits. All of this builds a kind of tension that is not entirely negative. It is the tension of a club standing at the edge of a long road, knowing the journey will be difficult, but also knowing that big moments come from these stretches. It is the tension of players pushing themselves to meet challenges that were never part of the original plan, and it is the tension of supporters waiting to see who steps up when the squad is thinned, when leaders are missing, and when every match feels like it carries double the weight. Then there is the anticipation surrounding the players returning from big moments with their national teams. You can sense the buzz around the training ground when a player walks in after scoring a goal that millions have watched. That energy is contagious. Teammates feed off it, coaches love it. And when the player in question is someone who has already shown he can thrive in the Celtic shirt, that international confidence can spill over into club performances in a massive way. With the squad needing every spark it can get, these returning highs could come at the perfect time. As match day approaches, the conversations shift from speculation to preparation. The coaching staff will be analyzing St. Mirren, looking at their tendencies, figuring out which players Celtic can lean on and which tactical adjustments will be needed with so many injuries. The players will be thinking about their roles, about the opponents they are likely to face, about the intensity required to set the right tone for this long run. Even the supporters, despite everything happening off the pitch, will feel that familiar pull toward the match, that mix of nerves and excitement that always arrives in the final days before kickoff. There is something undeniably Celtic about this entire situation. The combination of pressure, uncertainty, opportunity, and urgency, the sense that everything could shift with one result. The knowledge that the club's identity has been shaped by these intense, emotionally charged stretches where you cannot look too far ahead because the next game is already waiting. And yet, through all of it, there is the same expectation that has always existed. Go out, compete, rise to the moment, and show the fight that defines the badge. In terms of mentality, this sequence is often where champions separate themselves, not through glamour, but through resilience. You win titles not only by beating your strongest rivals, but by taking care of business when the calendar is unforgiving and the squad is limping. It is in these gritty runs that teams forge their identity. Managers, temporary or permanent, are judged on how they navigate them. Players build reputations, supporters remember who stepped up when the team needed graft more than glamour. And when spring finally arrives, people often look back at this mid-season slog and realize it was the foundation for everything that followed. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers are swirling Roon Parkhead this morning, the kind of soft-spoken chatter that turns into full-blown noise afore long. Word is that Celtic have finally tied up a deal for AARON Hickey, a move that many inside the club are already calling a quiet game-changer. Nothing's been shouted from the rooftops yet, but the hum of excitement is rattling through Glasgow like the first notes of a derby tune. Folk close to the negotiations are hinting that the left-back, long admired for his blend of pace, craft, and a certain fearless bite, is set to pull on the green and white once again. It's got supporters wondering if this is the moment the season takes a sharp, unexpected turn. Hickey's journey abroad has toughened him, sharpened his decision-making, and by the sounds of it, he's returning with a swagger that could lift the whole squad. There's been murmurs that Celtic staff see him as more than just cover or depth. They're speaking in hushed tones about a lad who can tilt matches by sheer presence, open space where none seems to exist, and give the side a drive up the flank they've been missing. Some are even suggesting that his arrival might trigger a shuffle in the team's shape, a wee tactical rethink that's been on the manager's mind for a while. Fans are already imagining Hickey storming down the left, linking with midfield, offering that sharp delivery he's crafted abroad. But the real buzz is the belief that this move, if the rumour holds, changes more than a position on the pitch. It shifts mood, ambition, expectation. It says Celtic aren't just patching holes, they're making a statement. Nothing's been held up officially yet. Nay photographs, nay scarf above the head moment. But the rumours growing louder, persistent as rain on Sauchy Hall Street. If AARON Hickey truly has signed on, the season might just have taken a turn that nobody saw coming. But everybody's talking about. Hello, fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.